Wa-
Be blessed by the divine. Thank you so much, Professor Radha Ravichandran Madam, for conducting an enchanting divine meditation. Valga Valamudan. On behalf of all the Sky intellectuals, I feel highly privileged to welcome and introduce Professor Dr. J. Subbulakshmi from USA tonight. Welcome you, ma'am. Professor Dr. J. Subbulakshmi ma'am has completed her Bachelor of Dental Surgery in India and Master of Health Administration in Pennsylvania, USA. Madam is currently working as reporting engineer in health IT. Professor got her Brahmagyanam in the year 2003 and she has completed her master course in the year 2017. And since then, ma'am is rendering her divine service in our sky system. We have such an inspiring and dedicated professor as well as doctor with us tonight. We are fortunate for having got an opportunity to listen to you valuable words, ma'am. I now request our professor, Dr. J. Subbulakshmi Madam, to deliver her speech on the topic sleep. Be blessed by the divine. Valga Valamudan. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello everyone. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you for the nice introduction. Look at this picture. How quietly and happily this baby is sleeping. It'll be nice if every one of us is able to get this kind of sleep. But is it possible to have such a nice sleep with our responsibilities and other things that is going on around us? So when I think, I'm sure that I would have slept like this baby when I was a one too. During school days, we played outside and went to bed before 9 p.m., at least until 8th or ninth grade. In higher grades, due to public exams, it was more of study, study, and study, including going to tuition and taking model exams and so on. So slowly my sleeping pattern changed. I had to stay awake till 11 or 12 and had to wake up early morning around 5 the next day. Nowadays, based on what we hear and see, most of the students still have to put long hours of study with their other additional activities. They are compromising their sleep time. Due to various reasons, adults either shorten the sleep time or could not have the deep sleep. Priorities are changed for parents, students, and working professionals, and sadly, sleep is not coming as on one of the top priorities. So in today's presentation, I'll be covering on why do we need sleep, what changes are happening in our body when we sleep, what should we do to have a good sleep. Have you ever wondered or heard a friend saying, why am I still feeling tired after having 8 or 9 hours of sleep? That is because during that 8 or 9 hours of sleep, how long we had the deep sleep matters. Chronic sleep deprivation causes many problems that include high BP, diabetes, stroke, heart attack, obesity, and loss of immunity. Good sleeping pattern helps us to recover from illness, stress, and other problems. So we need to practice ourselves to have a good sleeping pattern. Sleep is not just a rest to a tired physical body. Much more things are happening in our body while we are sleeping. We will see in detail as we go further in this presentation. EEG, which is encephalography, is a method to record the electrical activity of the brain. With the help of EEG, we can see how the brain waves change dramatically during various stages of sleep. According to American Sleep Association, sleep is divided into two major types: non-REM sleep or quiet sleep and REM or dreaming sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. Non-REM is further divided into three stages: Stage 1, Stage 2 and Stage 3. Stage 3 is deep sleep or delta wave sleep. Generally, when we sleep, non-REM and REM sleep alternate, which is called as one cycle. If we take 8 hours of sleeping period, this cycle approximately happens 4 or 5 times. First cycle lasts for 70 to 110 minutes and rest are slightly increased ranges from 90 to 120 minutes. Let's look into what happens during the stage 1 of non-REM sleep. Transition happens from wakefulness into light sleep mode. In this stage, we spend about 5 minutes. On the EEG, the predominant brain waves slow down to 4 to 7 cycles per second. Those waves are called theta waves. In this image, the highlighted ones are theta waves. Our body goes through many changes. Body temperature begins to drop, muscles relax, and eyes often move slowly from side to side. People in stage 1 sleep lose awareness of their surroundings, but we can easily wake them up. In stage 2, heart rate and breathing are slower than when we are awake. Brain's electrical activity is irregular. In this stage, sleep spindles occur in the brain activity. Sleep spindle is the burst of neural oscillatory activity. In this image, you can see the sleep spindles. When it occurs, the brain disconnects from outside sensory input and begins the process of memory consolidation that involves organizing memories for long-term storage. The EEG's tracing also shows a pattern called a K complex. This represents an inbuilt alert system that wakes you up if necessary. For instance, if we hear any sound around the house, K complex appears on the EEG. Stage 2 lasts for 10 to 25 minutes during first sleep cycle and becomes longer in rest of the cycles. In total, we spend about half of the sleep time in this stage 2 phase. Next is stage 3. Delta wave occurs in this stage. Delta wave is the major feature on the EEG and we enter into deep sleep. Breathing is more regular, blood pressure falls down. Brain is less responsive to external stimuli and it will be very difficult to wake the sleeper. Pituitary gland releases growth hormone that stimulates tissue growth and muscle repair. Researchers also found increased blood levels of substances that activate our immune system. Normally, young people spend about 20% of their sleep time in deep sleep, lasting up to half an hour. But deep sleep is nearly absent in most people over age 65. Next is dreaming or REM sleep. Dreaming occurs during this time. It is like active brain in a paralyzed body. Brain will act like as if we are awake but body is paralyzed. This is why sometimes in the dream we feel that someone is pushing us down. Our eyes move back and forth rapidly behind the closed lids. Body temperature, blood pressure, heart rate and breathing increases. However, body hardly moves except for intermittent twitches. As deep sleep restores our body, REM sleep restores our mind. Studies found that REM sleep facilitates learning and retaining the information. People were tested to measure how well REM sleep helps them to retain the new information, and it was proved that the group that went through REM sleep showed better results. These findings may help explain why students who stay up all night cramming for an examination generally retain less information than classmates who get some sleep. REM sleep generally happens 90 minutes after we fall asleep. During a night's sleep, we cycle through various stages approximately 4 times. The first REM period is brief, but each successive cycle results in a REM period of greater duration. Shortly before we awake, the typical REM period will last approximately for 1 hour. As the duration of REM sleep increases throughout the night, the duration of non-REM sleep decreases. This means that most of the slow wave sleep occurs early in the night cycle and most REM occurs later. Now let's see what circadian rhythm is. Circadian rhythm is a cycle that tells the body when to sleep, wake and eat. Sleep-wake cycle is one of the examples of circadian rhythm. Our body's master clock is suprachiasmatic nuclei, that is SCN. It works based on the presence or absence of light, so to keep us awake or put us on sleep. During the day, SCN receives information about light from the optic nerves that conduct the information from eyes to the brain. During night, the SCN stimulates the production of melatonin, a hormone that promotes sleep. This way, circadian rhythm handles the sleep-wake cycle. One of the secret weapons to excel in what we are doing is having a good sleep, whether you are cramming for an exam or trying to learn a musical instrument. Sleep is much more important when it comes to learning. When we learn after having a good sleep, brain is ready to soak up new information. We also have to have good sleep after as well. So all the new information learned gets retained. Actually, there is a file transfer mechanism that happens during sleep. Hippocampus is short-term storage reservoir. It acts almost like the informational inbox of your brain. It's very good at receiving new memory files and holding on to them. During deep sleep, memories are moved from short-term, that is, from hippocampus, to long-term storage, cortex, which acts like hard drive. So here, we shifted memories from short-term storage to long-term storage, and they're safe. So we will be remembering those information, otherwise we should be forgotten. Also, hippocampus is cleared out of all memories, and when we wake up the next morning, we can start acquiring new information again. Non-REM sleep first gets the information and stores them. REM sleep comes later and starts to integrate all the information that you have recently learned and provide solution to the problems. Sleep will actually cleverly interconnect new information with existing ones. So, if we try to find a solution to a problem, a good sleep would help rather than thinking it over and over when we are awake. There are many examples of scientific discoveries that are made in dreams. First one is Mendeleev's periodic table. I hope we all tried at least once to memorize periodic table during our school days. Mendeleev had been thinking for months to find a logical way to organize the chemical elements. He saw that atomic weight was important, but he couldn't find any specific pattern. He moved the cards about for many hours until finally he fell asleep at his desk. When he awoke, he found the solution to it. Later he wrote, "In a dream, I saw a table where all the elements fell into place as required. Awakening, I immediately wrote it down on a piece of paper." Another example is discovery of benzene structure. August Kikuly had been worrying how the atoms in the benzene are arranged. He was hardly working towards how to figure them out. One day, in his dream, he saw the atoms were dancing and arranging themselves into the shape of snake. Then the snake turned around and bit its own tail. The image of snake with its tail in its mouth continued to dance before his eyes. When he awoke, he realized what the dream had been telling him. Benzene molecules are made up of rings of carbon atoms. Understanding these aromatic rings opened an important new field of chemistry, aromatic chemistry. Next is the scientist Ramanujan. He died in the young age of 32. In his short lifetime, he produced almost 4,000 proofs, identities, equations in pure mathematics. The Cambridge University mathematician Godfrey Hardy, who worked with Ramanujan, expressed the thought that if the mathematicians were rated on the basis of pure talent on a scale from 0 to 100, Srinivas Ramanujan would be 100. Ramanujan got the ideas while asleep. His quote on this slide conveys it. "While asleep, I had an unusual experience. There was a red screen formed by flowing blood, as it were. I was observing it. Suddenly, a hand began to write on the screen. I became all attention. That hand wrote a number of elliptic integrals. They stuck to my mind. As soon as I woke up, I committed them to writing." Another scientist is Otto Lowy, father of neuroscience. He thought that nerve signals were possibly transmitted using chemical instructions, but he couldn't prove his new idea. In 1920, he had a dream about the problem and immediately woke during the night and scribbled notes about the dream. In the morning, he couldn't remember the dream and he could not read his notes either. Then the following night, he dreamt about the problem again. The dream was about an experiment that he could prove his idea. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for the work that was solved in his dream. Next, an American author, John Ernst, who got a Nobel Prize in Literature for his realistic and imaginative writings, he has been called as a giant of American letters. Here is the quote by him. "It is a common experience that a problem difficult at night is resolved in the morning after the committee of sleep has worked on it." So deep sleep helps to provide solution to the problem. To summarize, sleep is divided into two types, that is REM and non-REM. Non-REM is further divided into stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 1 is the light sleep mode. In stage 2, sleep spindle and K complex appears. This stage is very important for memory consolidation. Stage 3 is deep sleep, where immune system is activated and pituitary gland stimulates the growth hormone. REM sleep is the dreaming sleep. As we start to sleep, we enter non-REM sleep. During this state, brain replays memories. These reruns help to consolidate and strengthen newly formed memories, and REM sleep connects all those information and helps to provide us a solution to the problem. So, if you are working on something that requires thinking outside the box, then it's better to allow yourself to have enough nights of sleep. Dr. Kristen from National Sleep Foundation says sleep quality and duration should be considered a vital sign, as they are strong indicators of overall health and quality of life. Now, let's see how the sleep is related with our immune system. Sleep stimulates the production of immune cells and helps us to stay healthy. According to Dr. Luciana and Dr. Jan from Germany, sleep and the circadian system plays an important role on immune functions. Similar to how sleep helps the brain to consolidate learning and memory, research suggests that sleep strengthens the immune memory. The interaction of immune system components during sleep strengthens the immune system's ability to remember how to recognize and react to dangerous antigens. So having a good sleep improves our immunity. During sleep, breathing and muscle activity slows down, so more energy is used by the immune system to perform important tasks. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, decreasing the sleep to 4 hours for one night leads to the generation of inflammatory cytokines, which plays an important role in the development of cardiovascular and metabolic disorders. Studies found that person who sleeps less than 7 hours are 3 times more susceptible to common cold. 70% of women who sleep less than 5 hours develop pneumonia. It is a lung inflammation caused by bacterial or viral infection. According to Dr. Matthew, we have something called nature killer cells. We all have cancer cells in our bodies. These nature killer cells prevent those cells from becoming the disease called cancer. NK cells are very important of the immune response and play vital roles in controlling and eliminating both virally infected and cancer cells. American Journal of Preventive Medicine, March 2015, found that there is a link between the lack of sleep and cancer. In addition to this, in 2007, the World Health Organization classified night shift work as a probable carcinogen due to circadian disruption. That is, nighttime jobs could induce cancer because of a disruption of our sleep-wake rhythms. And a study done by Dr. Mike, actually he limited a group of individuals to 4 hours of sleep for one night of sleep, and they found 70% reduction in nature killer cells. Can you believe? 70% of reduction in one night. Also, when we relate the sleep with the vaccines, studies have clearly shown that sleep improves the effects of vaccines. Dr. Eve, endocrinologist, found that if we get less than 5 or 6 hours of sleep in the week before we get our flu shot, we only produce half of the normal antibody response, making that flu shot largely useless. Also, studies of vaccines for hepatitis and swine flu have found that body's immune response is weaker for the people who don't sleep the night after receiving a vaccine. Sometimes a second dose of the vaccine is required. So, when we are ready to get a COVID vaccine, it is better to have a good sleep before 1 week and the day after we get vaccine. All these researchers clearly inform that in order to have a good immune power, we need to have a deep sleep. In short, sleep loss decreases nature killer function, which in turn increases viral infection and cancer. Inflammatory cytokines are increased, which increases heart-related diseases, and antibody production is decreased. As a result, common infection is increased. How does sleep help to reduce our weight? Sleep is also another important factor apart from diet and exercise to watch our weight. According to the research article that was published by Dr. Tahiri, Lin and Young in 2004, ghrelin and leptin are two important hormones in regulating appetite. Ghrelin is increased in the stomach and it signals hunger in the brain. Leptin is released from fat cells and it suppresses the hunger and signals fullness in the brain. In one study, men who got 4 hours of sleep had increased ghrelin and decreased leptin compared to those who got 10 hours of sleep. When we don't get adequate sleep, the body makes more ghrelin and less leptin, which makes us hungry and increasing our appetite. In addition, several studies have also indicated that sleep deprivation affects food preferences. Sleep deprived individuals are inclined towards the foods that are high in calories and carbohydrates. Moreover, a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that when people were starved of sleep, tend to have more snacks during late night and mostly choose high carb snacks. In another study done at the University of Chicago, people who get less sleep chose snacks with twice as much fat as those who slept at least 8 hours. In the article Sleep and Obesity by Dr. Silvana, the hormone cortisol is higher when we do not get adequate sleep. Cortisol is a stress hormone that may also increase appetite. Next, let's see about sleep and Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's is a disease characterized by gradual memory loss and cognitive decline. Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis explains lack of sleep produces more of amyloid beta protein. Increased levels of amyloid beta leads to an increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. Amyloid beta is a byproduct of normal brain activity. The researchers found that when people stay awake, their brains continue to produce amyloid beta throughout the night. A sleeping brain produces much less. Next, let's see the most important issue that we are facing today: screen time and insomnia. We know melatonin is a hormone that is very important for sleep. Electronic devices emit an artificial blue light that reduces the natural production of melatonin. This light also reduces the time that we spend in slow wave and rapid eye movement, which are essential for cognitive functioning. Furthermore, Associate Professor Andrew Wood from the Brain Science Institute at Melbourne University says his study also found that exposure to electromagnetic radiation from mobile phones can reduce levels of the hormone melatonin, which is connected to the body's sleep-wake cycle. As a result, over time, this sleep deprivation can lead to depression. So it's better not to use mobiles for an hour before bedtime. How long to sleep? National Sleep Foundation's recommendation is for the newborns, the recommended time is 14 to 17 hours, and for the infants, it is 12 to 15 hours. Toddlers, it's 11 to 14 hours. For preschoolers, it's 10 to 13 hours. For school-aged children, that is between 6 to 13 years old, 9 to 11 hours. For teenagers, 14 to 17 years, it's 8 to 10 hours. Young adults, it's 7 to 9 hours. And for adults, it is 7 to 9 hours. And for older adults who are greater than 65 years, for them, the recommended sleep time is 7 to 8 hours. Dr. Matthew Walker, a scientist and professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California, gives some tips to have a good sleep. Regularity. Sleep at the same time and wake at the same time, whether it is a weekday or weekend, because the internal clock, that is our sleep-wake cycle, expects regularity for good quality of sleep. Temperature. Keep it cool. It seems that brain and our body need to drop that core temperature by about 2 to 3 degree Fahrenheit to initiate sleep and stay asleep. Optimal room temperature for a good night's sleep is 65 degree Fahrenheit. Darkness. Our room should be dark enough to stimulate the hormone melatonin. So at least 1 hour before bed, try to be away from phone, computer or tablets. Try to be away from caffeine and alcohol. We should not stay in bed awake for a longer period of time. If we can't sleep after 25 minutes in bed, then better we should get out and do something else because our brain is the associative device. If we go to bed only when we feel asleep, then the brain will learn the association that bed is the place for consistent sleep. So we have seen how sleep helps in memory and improves our immune system. From this we understand that sleep is important and we should not ignore it. Let's see about neurotransmitters. What is a neurotransmitter? Neurotransmitters are chemicals that serve as messengers between the brain and the organs. They should be in adequate levels so we can be healthy. Without neurotransmitters, brain could not instruct the heart to beat, lungs to breathe, or stomach to digest. Emotionally, it is necessary for mood, behavior, and social attitude. Physically, for sleep, metabolism, and cardiac function. And mentally, for focus and learning ability. What is the role of neurotransmitters in sleep? According to National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, clusters of sleep-promoting neurons in many parts of the brain become more active as we get ready for bed. Neurotransmitter imbalances result in insomnia, depression, anxiety, and autism. Imbalances of neurotransmitters are due to high level of stress, poor dietary habits, environmental toxins, and genetics. Neurotransmitters are divided into two categories, excitatory neurotransmitters and inhibitory neurotransmitters. Excitatory neurons are responsible for energizing and motivating, example, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and histamine. And then inhibitory neurotransmitters helps in calming and relaxing, and it is sleep inducing and slow down the system. Example, serotonin and GABA. During the night, low levels of excitatory transmitters and high levels of inhibitory neurotransmitters are needed for deep sleep. The main cause of insomnia is low level of serotonin, GABA, and high levels of cortisol. Melatonin is known as sleep hormone and is made from serotonin. Low levels of serotonin could lead to low levels of melatonin. Cortisol is known as a stress hormone and is produced by the adrenal gland. People that are experiencing high amounts of stress may have elevated cortisol levels, which causes sleep disturbances. Trends associated with sleep disturbances are low serotonin levels and elevated levels of one or more excitatory neurotransmitters, and also hormonal imbalances such as low melatonin and high cortisol. So now we got some idea about hormones and neurotransmitters required for good sleep. When we go to the doctor for insomnia, what do you think the treatment would be? They will identify the chemicals that is out of balance and give medicines either to increase the inhibitory neurotransmitters or decrease the excitatory neurotransmitters. Medications, of course, come along with their own side effects. We can balance the neurotransmitters and hormones by meditation. How does that work? Here we have to remember that brain is neuroplastic in nature. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. According to the science, our brain can be strengthened like a muscle. That's the power of neuroplasticity. Neuroplastic nature of the brain means that our potential is not set at birth. We can actually strengthen and improve our brain in ways once believed impossible. Rebecca Gladding, author of You're Not Your Brain, recently wrote, "The brain and how we are able to mold it is fascinating and nothing short of amazing." Scientists agree meditation is the number one brain changer. So, what's the best way to build a better brain? Of course, meditation. Scientists found that the base of the brain, pons, regulates the main chemical melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. If there is any weakness or abnormality within this region, it causes sleep disturbances. So this area should be strong enough to get good sleep. Neuroscientists at Massachusetts, Harvard, and Stanford University researched and found that meditation builds strong centered bonds and melatonin levels is increased for meditators. Melatonin's number one enemy is stress. And the stress hormone is cortisol. Studies found that cortisol is decreased for the meditators. Meditation also cools the brainwaves of insomnia and boosts the brainwaves of sleep. For the meditators, both GABA and serotonin levels are increased. Other factors that cause sleep disturbances are depression and worries. What is depression? It involves a lot of dark thoughts. One might feel hopeless, worthless, or angry at life. Studies have found that hippocampus, area of brain responsible for memory and emotion, shrinks in depressed people. As we saw in the last slide, one interesting nature of brain is its neuroplasticity. That is, brain can be molded at any time. Given that, scientists observed that after only 8 weeks of meditation, hippocampi had grown in neural thickness, density, and dimensions were enlarged for meditators. Other than meditation, introspection is also very important to overcome depression and worries. The system of simplified Kundalini Yoga comprises of 4 practices: meditation, introspection, sublimation, and perfection. In introspection, we have seen about analysis of thoughts and eradication of worries that helps in depression and worries. Thoughts have to be analyzed. We should be aware of negative thoughts and try to eradicate them through auto-suggestions and positive thoughts. Regular analysis increases awareness. As a sky meditator, we understand the cause and effect system, and so awareness of present and awareness of body and how the thought is affecting us in the moment is often only way to calm our mind and quickly get to sleep. To overcome worries, Maharishi has given a beautiful chart to introspect ourselves, which helps us to lead a peaceful life. Meditation molds our brain, and if you want to have a good, deep sleep every night of the week, then close your eyes to meditation. Be blessed by the divine. Thank you.
Be blessed by the divine. Thank you, Professor Dr. J. Subbulakshmi, Madam, for your inspiring and valuable message. Dear Sky Meditators, as our professor is from Pennsylvania, USA, we are unable to contact her on this time. So we have decided to end the program with the announcements. We have few important announcements to make. Please emphasize all your near ones and dear ones to learn and practice Kayakalpa Yoga. You can easily learn Kayakalpa Yoga from your home by visiting the website kayakalpayoga.edu.in or by downloading the Android application. WCSC Vision for Wisdom is conducting online foundation courses and certified courses in Tamil, English, and Kannada. Please visit kundaliniyoga.edu.in to know in detail. Please refer your friends and relatives to join these courses and let all get benefited by practicing the yogic technique given by our Guru. Our monthly journal Anbali is also available in the Android application. Get access to the premium content of our Guru Yogiraj Sri Vethathiri Maharishi speeches at a nominal subscription. Connect with us on Facebook and YouTube channel at Sky Yoga TV to listen to all the past speeches of our beloved professors for free. Karma Yoga principles of Vedatrium suggest donating 1% of income to the good causes of the society. As some of you are aware, these donations are not expenditures but they are investments. You get more than what you pay as good karma. We invite you to donate to the World Community Service Center either through the Unboli app or through our official website, that is vedatri.edu.in. Section 80G exemptions are available for these donations. Thank you, professors. Now, dear Sky meditators, let us all put our minds together to bless our professors. Let us bless Professor Radha Ravichandran Madam for conducting Divine State Meditation. Be blessed by the Divine. Professor Radha Ravichandran Madam, be blessed by the Divine. Her good health, be blessed by the Divine. Her loving family, be blessed by the Divine. Her divine service, be blessed by the Divine. Now let us all bless Professor Dr. J. Subbulakshmi Madam for her inspiring speech. Professor Dr. J. Subbulakshmi Madam, be blessed by the Divine. Her good health, be blessed by the Divine. Her loving family, be blessed by the Divine. Her divine service to the humanity, be blessed by the Divine. Thank you so much, professors. I really thank you all for joining us tonight. Please keep enlightening us with such more valuable and interesting topics. Dear donators, thank you so much for your great generosity. We, the World Community Service Center, greatly appreciate your donations made by you and your sacrifices. Your support helps us to further our mission of spreading Vedatrium to the whole world. Keep donating us. By the grace of the divine bliss, may you and your family enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, peace, prosperity, fame, and wisdom. We are happy to bring the online programs live from the Alia Temple of Consciousness tomorrow morning. At 5:25 a.m., we will have 9 center meditation in Tamil conducted by Viluppuram Zone along with WCSC IT Department. At 6 a.m., we will have simplified physical exercises demonstration in Tamil. 7 a.m., we will have 9 center meditation in English by Professor Rajaraman from Chennai. By 11 a.m., we will have speech in Tamil on the topic Inbamaga Vala by Professor Mayil Murugan from Chennai. Evening programs at 6:45 p.m. We will have meditation in Tamil conducted by Viluppuram Zone along with WCSC IT Department. At 6:30 p.m., there will be a re-telecast of the morning Tamil speech. 7:30 p.m., we will have Duryadidam meditation by Professor Radhi from Kozhikode. There will be speech at 8 o'clock in Malayalam on the topic food habits by Professor Swaminathan from Palakkad. We request you to share this program invite with your friends and relatives. Let everyone take part in this spiritual journey and get benefited. We thank our beloved President Padma Shri Arunidhi S.K.M. Mailanandan sir for his leadership, guidance and entire support. See you all tomorrow with another interesting session in Malayalam. Till then, be safe, meditate, practice our Kundalini Yoga and stay healthy. This is Jamuna Mani from the World Community Service Center, Aliar IT team. Let us conclude today's session with the invocation of the world peace. May the world be blessed with plenty of rain. The farmers work to produce an abundance of grain. Let the practitioners of all trades prosper, flourish and grow, and culture progress through the need to share and grow. Let the rules be beyond feelings of anger or fear, illiteracy, poverty, and all evils made to disappear. Let the true lamp of knowledge burn steady and bright. Our sense of duty guide us along paths always right. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Have a good night. வாழ்க வளமுடன்.